I want to tell you a story about feeling worthy. And this all revolves around one of my favourite pastimes, shopping. Hey, it's Star Monroe from the Star Monroe Show, all things main character energy. So you can flaunt yourself unapologetically, move through the world unbothered about what anyone else thinks or says, and exclusive with the traits of a high value woman, which beautifully segues me into this story that I'm about to tell you. I found myself in a local town, go check. It's about 40 minutes away from where I live in Turkey. And it's become quite a ritual for me. Once a month, I will hire a car and I will take myself out for the day because in GoCheck, they have these amazing boutiques selling sensational clothes. And there is one specific shop there that sells very high end resort wear. And next to and part of the shop is a patisserie. So I am in absolute heaven every time I go there. I always sit and have a double espresso and a patisserie of my choice. I sit there admiring the view. And then once I finish that, I will always go into this shop. Now, I'm going to take you back about 18 months when I first entered into this shop. Now, I started to look at all the clothes and I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And the first thing I started to notice was the shop assistants, and they didn't really say anything, they didn't smile. And what I did at the time was make a story up about the shop assistants going, oh, they're very snooty, and oh, what's wrong with them? Or, and then the story then from that sprung board into me thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't really be in here. And it was kind of a silent story. I didn't really notice it, but it was kind of like I felt a bit uneasy being in this shop. Maybe it was out of my league. And yet it didn't stop me looking through the clothes because I love clothes and they had some amazing designer outfits in there. So I left the shop, not buying anything, and then returned many times in the last 18 months back to the shop and the patisserie, always having my cake, my coffee, and then wandering into the shop. Now, this experience of me experiencing my perceived viewpoint of the shop assistants being snooty and things maybe being out of my league, everything was really expensive, went on for quite a while, but it didn't stop me going into the shop. So I kind of felt like, oh, maybe this is a bit expensive for me. Maybe, I can't afford anything. And that was my first kind of line of thought for probably the first 6 to 8 months. Then last year, when I really started to double down on the work that I'm here to guide and teach you into self identity, mindset, shifting my belief systems, really understanding that the world outside me is the perception of my inner world. Went back into the shop again a couple more times, and then this is what I started to say is I greeted the sales assistants and just accepted the fact that they were quite deadpan and didn't add any story onto that. Looked through the clothes and I was like, actually, I'm going to try some of these clothes on. So I said, can you put these in the changing room? And then, I tried the clothes on. This went on for a couple more times. And I was like, oh, maybe, I might purchase this. And the thing is with me, because I'm such a shopper, when I found something in the shop, that I really adored, I would then go online and research it and see, like what the prices were elsewhere. I was like, actually, it's pretty comparable. This is what the prices are. So I wasn't being like shafted. I always like to make sure that the prices are pretty much aligned with what they are in other shops. So I kind of did my due diligence on a couple of other outings, and then the last couple of times I went in there and I was like, this shop is is perfect for me. Every piece of clothing I can have if I wanted to, and I'm going to try it on. And so the last couple of times I went into this shop and I literally said to the sales assistant, what can you recommend for me? And they was like, they pulled all these clothes out. So what I did is I leant back and I allowed the shop assistants to do their job, and they were more than happy to go, well, actually, if you like this, you can try this on and you can try this on. And I was like, oh, well, thank you very much. And then I started to come out of the changing room and I go, well, what do you think? How does this look? And there's another story in this, actually, that whenever I have to ask somebody else's opinion, then I know the answer is not a hell yes. Yet this wasn't part of this. This was part of me elaborating my shopping experience, really dropping into this shop that I'd kind of made up in my head. It was out of my league, that I wasn't worthy of shopping in there. I kind of changed I not kind of I changed my self-identity, and I am a woman that shops in this shop, that can purchase anything in there. So the a couple of weeks ago I was in there and I was like, oh, actually, try this on. And they were like, yes, well, you could try this on. And I was going out and we were having this conversation. And then the dress I tried on, I was like, actually, I really like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and think about it, because I know I'm going to come back to go check and come back to the shop. So yesterday, I was in the shop. I was, again, went in there. I'm a woman who is this is normal. I was telling my clients last night in my group, Main Character Energy Season 2024, I was like, nothing is out of my league. I am the league, darling. And if you've been listening to me for more than a hot second, you will hear me say things like, I am the prize. I am Main Character Energy. I'm a high value woman. And I truly believe with my heart, soul, and spirit that the words that you say to yourself, and we say to ourselves over and over again, become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And no, you don't just get to say this and sit on your sofa and carry on doing all the fucking shit that you were doing before. No, if you demand more from life, then you have to demand more from yourself. So there are many other things that I was doing in the background. So I was doing the inner work, I was challenging my inner beliefs, showing up for myself with my daily journaling practices, really taking care of my least unevolved parts of me that may believe that they're not worthy because that's what they were conditioned to believe a long, long time ago. So all of this culminated in this shopping experience yesterday. So again, I walked into the shop. I was like, can I try this dress on that I tried a couple of weeks ago? And they put it in. And then I said, actually, I prefer something a different color. I like this. And then I came back out and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I actually found a different dress. The attitude that I had when I was shopping in that shop was, I'm going to buy that dress. I'm going to buy that dress. I'm going to try it on. I've been thinking about it and it is mine. And so I gave myself permission. I was like, yes, I have the money. The money will find me as well, which might sound a bit wafty, but from someone who's had a really checkered history with money, where I didn't respect money and I spent it so much that I went bankrupt and had to live on the breadline for a very long time. And now I'm in a position where I have my own independent wealth and I'm very respectful of my money. I invest it, I save it. One of the words that I say about my money is I'm meticulous with my money. And I also trust that money comes to me from lots of different sources in expected and unexpected ways. So I didn't want to just say that with a very kind of frivolous kind of like, oh, money just comes to me. So again, this is changing my mindset from a lack perspective around money, which I definitely inherited from my mother. And I am training and cultivating myself to have more of an abundant mindset. You trust in the flow of life. You trust yourself. You trust that abundance and prosperity is for you and is around you. And here comes the kicker, that you can receive it. You've got to be a receiving receptacle for abundance and prosperity, because if you're always batting things off, going, oh, this isn't good enough and that's not enough, then no, you're not going to receive more. So anyway, come back to the story. Stay on track, Star. So when I was in there, I actually tried the dress on, and then I tried all these other dresses on, and I decided I didn't want it actually. I was like, oh, I don't actually want that dress. Um, and I actually left it on the rack. I tried lots of other dresses on. I found another dress that was fucking sensational, but it was a little short. It cut right underneath my butt cheeks. And I was like, well, I could buy this, but I have to stand like a statue. So I actually walked out of the shop empty handed, but I walked out of the shop with a completely different fucking mindset. And this is what I trust I'm illustrating to you, is that self-worth, valuing ourselves, comes through actions, comes through the choices we make, comes through the stories we tell ourselves, comes through us doing things differently and being willing. Oh my God, please write that down, highlight it, put it somewhere. You're going to see it every single fucking day. Being willing to look at yourself and life through a different fucking lens. Because I no longer walk into that shop thinking the shop assistants are snooty. I think they're respectful. They lean back and they are there to help when you ask them to help. They're not over enthusiastic, which is another reason why I love being in Turkey, because everyone is pretty deadpan here. And the other thing as well is that I felt at ease. I felt ease being in that shop, whereas 18 months ago I felt like it was out of my league. So, what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is nothing is out of your league, darling. You are the fucking league. You are the prize. You are the main character. You are a high value woman. You are a woman who attracts great opportunities, prosperity, abundance is your birthright. You are a woman who shows up for herself. You are a woman who understands the importance of shifting and up leveling her inner world, of taking care of the parts of her that have been conditioned. There is the fucking word, conditioned to believe that she is not worthy. Also, there is conditioning that has warped your sense of worth, but also as well, it's the way that you take care of yourself, or you haven't taken care of yourself in the past. So this leads me on to, I didn't realize I was going to go here, but let's keep unpacking this. This also goes into your daily habits, the promises that you make to yourself. So in this 18 months of me going to the same shop, I've also discarded myself of habits that no longer serve me. And I have talked about this in previous podcasts. I realized I was dating random men and getting myself nowhere with them. And I had a come to Jesus moment last year. And I was like, you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Stop. So I was like, I'm no longer dating. I'm not spending my time and energy on men. I'm going to spend it on me. I'm going to focus 100% on me. So I ditched that habit, kicked it to the curb. The other thing as well is I really doubled down on all the practices over the years, ever since I've been clean. This year I'm 16 years clean from cocaine. And so over these 16 years, I've cultivated and experimented with a lot of different practices that have helped me connect into my body and into my higher self. So I doubled down on all those practices. And so I created a stronger trust bond with myself. I kept the promises I made myself. And then what I did towards the tail end of last year, I talked myself into existence. I talked a woman who did not drink, because I knew I kept drinking on and off, and I was sloppy when I was drinking. I made mistakes, and I was like, that's not the woman I want to be. I want to be the most elite version of myself. I wrote in my journal the other day is, I am an Olympian. I am the athlete version of me. And so drinking got kicked to the curb as I came in this year. And I'm will preface this that I talk who I want to be into existence a long time before things happen. And that's what I truly believe. Most of you are impatient. Most of you want all your goodies right here, right now. And that's your inner child talking. That's your immaturity. And part of us growing into becoming iconic older women is to cultivate maturity, is to cultivate patience, is to cultivate the understanding that nothing's going to happen unless we show up and start doing things differently. So, this is, as always, a firm kick up your cute derriere to do things differently, to up level, to realize you are the league, baby. You're the motherfucking league. You are the prize. All you gotta do is start acting like it. If this is waking you up, if you are looking for elite support and guidance, there are many ways I can supply that to you. There is my ebook, Main Character Energy Upgrade Your Midlife, my mini program, Amplify Your Confidence. On my website, I'm going to chuck everything underneath in the show notes. There are many self-guided programs as well that take you through the path. And if you're looking to hire me as your private therapist and coach, then apply and let's see what magic we can make together. Until next time, stay absolutely fucking fabulous.